Moments ago, both teams and the NWSL observed a moment of silence, mourning the lives lost in the senseless act of violence that took place on Tuesday in Uvalde, Texas. Our heartfelt condolences go out to the victims and their loved ones during this unimaginable time. Obviously, go out to the victims in Texas, in Buffalo last week. It's just a sad day in America to deal with all of that. But we are playing some soccer here tonight in Seattle, and it's the Kansas City Current on the road taking on the OL Reign. Now, both of these teams do not have a win yet in the regular season, which is quite surprising considering how successful they were in the Challenge Cup. So we'll see if someone actually gets a victory here tonight or not. Obviously in soccer, there's always a chance for a tie. OL Reign knows that all too well. They have just one loss in the regular season, the Reign do, and 3 ties, including 2 in their last 2 matches, scoreless draws. It's been just a weird start to the regular season, but it's not like they don't have the talent to get there. And obviously we saw that in the Challenge Cup, offensively, especially for the OL Reign. And then they've just got such a solid backline, highlighted by Fallon Torres-Joyce in net. Meanwhile, Kansas City also reached the semifinal in the Challenge Cup, and it's just been very bumpy for multiple reasons. They're struggling to score, only 2 goals so far in the first 4 games in the regular season, but they've been dealing with injuries. Sam Ewis has been out, and they've been dealing with COVID. And so that combined has just made things very difficult for Kansas City. In fact, they've been shut out in every game but 1 in the regular season. We'll see if that changes today. Obviously, there's a lot on the line for both of these teams in a kind of surprising way. Just based on what we saw in the Challenge Cup, we thought maybe when they met, these 2 teams would be towards the top of the standings. Alas, they are not. OL Reign is 10th right now. Kansas City is 11th. The only team behind them is North Carolina, who doesn't even have a tie, just has all losses. Again, those are 3 of the 4 teams that went to the Challenge Cup semifinal. So I think what that means is this is still a very wide open NWSL, because there's teams that have proven they can win at a very high level and just haven't done it yet. So there's a lot of season to be played, and this would be a great starting point for one of these 2 sides to pick up win number 1 on the year. All right, Kansas City in red. They've got their teal socks as well, the Current, and at home in white, that is OL Reign. I'm Maura Sheridan, glad to have you along with us on the Twitch stream. As we get set, Rose Lavelle with the first touches. Off to the races here for OL Reign, off to Jess Fishlock, who dumps it wide. Some notable players not in the starting lineup. An immediate shot, though, from Lavelle, and A.D. French picks up the save. That's good early pressure if you are the Reign. Got to get French moving. Of course, she's one of the top goalkeepers really of all time in the NWSL, and this is her 100th regular season appearance. Again, OL Reign, because this is a midweek game, is sitting a couple players. Balser, Quinn, Rapinoe, Watt, all on the bench. Torres-Joyce boots that one out towards the midfield over the head of Lavelle. And same thing for Kansas City. I mean, they're sitting out Edmonds, Addie McCain also on the bench. So, you know, first of all, Kansas City has a lot of players still in COVID protocol, so they don't have a ton of options. And, you know, on the Reign side, they don't have any players out at all, which is a great thing, considering the world in which we live in, where, you know, a lot of teams have been affected with COVID. Of course, some teams getting caught with the injury bug as well, and so to not have to deal with that is a very good sign for OL Reign. So they're finally back in full force. Of course, Balser is kind of nursing an injury, so she might not play today, depending on how this goes. Controlled by Current. Pickett gets tripped up, and it's going to be back with KC. Adore Monroy is the referee today. Just a couple minutes into this one, we're in Lumen Field, Seattle, Washington. Kansas City, OL Reign played 4 times last year, including 1 Challenge Cup game. And OL Reign won 3 of the 4. And Balser, who isn't in the starting lineup today, had 2 goals in the 1 victory in Seattle. was a 2-0 win. See Huerta, part of this defense for the Reign, who has been phenomenal. I mean, again, 2 shutouts in a row against great offenses too. Portland and Washington, to shut them out is so impressive, but just offensively, they haven't been able to back any of that up, and it's not for lack of trying. It's not like the Reign aren't getting shots off. They got 20 shots off against Washington, but just frankly, none of them went in, 8 on target. And, you know, someone like Roosevelt is just kind of waiting for that second goal. She has one already. It was against Washington in the season opener, but she hasn't scored since. And her expected goals, I know that's kind of in the weed stat, but is 2 on the season. So she's kind of below where she's expected to be based on the amount of shots that she's taken. She's taken 11 shots. That is the most in the league, or tied for the most in the league. So she's just knocking on the door of kind of an explosive game. And you could see from that early look that she's desperate for it. Let's go with some pressure. Angelina as well for OL Reign. Is kicked out. Here's a chance for a throw-in on the far side. Again, Huerta, Alana Cook, and Barnes, along with Sam Hyatt, who's starting from the bench, a huge part of the defense. That's the core group. They can mix in a couple of players. Phoebe McLaren is getting the start today. Elise Bennett wants to move fast, immediately swiped. Fishlock moving quickly. See Hamilton is guarding her there. Kristen Hamilton, superstar for Kansas City. Pickett intercepts, got some green. Takes off, Bennett gets tangled up, and we'll get a great spot for a free kick here. Now Bennett is very explosive, and she's one of the key options really offensively at all for Kansas City. Without Mewis, I mean, it's been Hamilton, Bennett. Those are actually the only 2 goal scorers for Kansas City, but they're really relying on a rookie like Bennett to have a great season just because of all the injuries so far. Ooh, they're going to call that back on Elise Bennett. So this is actually going to be OL Reign ball. Have to see that again, but goes right back to Kansas City. Again, just talking to Lloyd Yaxley, who's the head coach today because of COVID protocol for Matt Potter. He was talking about Bennett, and she says there's still a lot of, rookie mistakes, but she was the 7th overall pick for Kansas City, and they just feel like, the best way for her to learn is play a lot of minutes, and that's exactly what she's done. And again, during the Orlando tie, which is the only non-loss that Kansas City has, basically Bennett came in at the end of that game and changed the entire narrative. It looked like it was going to be an Orlando win, and she came in and got a goal and got an assist. Ended up being a 2-2 tie. Again, those are the only goals that Kansas City has scored so far this regular season. All right, this really is a free kick for Kansas City. Alex Loera will take it. Just her 2nd year in the NWSL, but with so many rookies in for Kansas City, and we'll see a couple coming off the bench as well. She feels like a seasoned vet. See Bennett there, ripped down. Good call by Monroy. Tolis Joyce getting ready in net. Offensive opportunity for Kansas City. Loera. This one lofted towards Tolis Joyce. Too much juice on that one. Of course, trending towards the back post where Bennett was crashing in, but wasn't able to get her head on that. Fallon Tolis Joyce, I mean, a lot to say about her. Obviously coming up on back-to-back shutouts, the Portland and Washington shutouts. And Portland, she had to do a lot. But Washington, because of the offense in front of her, only got 2 shots that she had to save. And that's pretty rare for her in the regular season. She actually leads the league with 21 saves. So we'll see what kind of day she gets today. Worked behind Huerta. Back to Huerta on the far side. See Olivia van der Yacht getting the start for OO Reign. Again, no injuries just with these midweek games, and for Reign having played on Sunday, they're going to have to, rest some players. Fishlock surveys. Let's go. Has it ripped away. Back to French. Weinbrenner. Touch from King. Taken away. Right back with OL Reign. See Zierra King in for the Reign. I mean, again, their offense has just really not been there so far in the regular season, but she accounts for 2 of the goals. The only multi-goal scorer, as you see, AD Franch, again, talks about 100 regular season appearances. Her numbers are outstanding. That one finally goes out off Kansas City, so King throws it in. She's also 3rd all-time, Franch, by the way, in goals against average. Off a cross, intended for Latsko, racing back. Nice little tap out by Kansas City. That's Kate Delfava, who's in the game. Again, often a rotation player for Kansas City, but with the injuries, COVID, all of that, they've had to go with a pretty short bench. Huerta off the kick, intended for King, sails over her head. Fishlock charges forward, squares up. Opts to go back. Lauren Barnes, you'll see her come up a ton for OO Reign, of course. I mean, another player, we just talked about milestones in the NWSL. 15,000 plus minutes played. That's the most of any player in NWSL history. And when talking to head coach Laura Harvey, she said, look, what makes it so impressive is, 1, it's been with the same club, Seattle. And 2, it's been with a club that is consistently at a high level. So Barnes is winning and starting and playing a ton. And when asked about the milestones, she just immediately started talking about her teammates. Started talking about Veronica Latsko, who hit 50 career appearances. I mean, she didn't really want to talk too much about her own milestone. Obviously, that's a sign of a pretty good leader. Fishlock. Tangled up. We've got a whistle. Pickett goes down. And here is a good spot for a free kick. And Fishlock is a little frustrated there. You see Laura Harvey. Harvey said they were actually very, kind of content with that tie against Portland because it was such a, tightly contested game, and Portland is their rival. But we're not happy with the Washington performance just because they did have way more offensive opportunities in Washington and still only got a point. All right, Fishlock and company getting set for this free kick. Pickett is in the mix here for Kansas City, but it does look like Loera will take it. Actually, I can't say for sure. She does. Immediately goes for it and soars into the crowd. Seen a handful of free kicks turn into goals this year. Challenge Cup, of course, there's a couple, and then Louisville just keeps doing it. This is the only game in the NWSL tonight. Of course, there's a ton this weekend. Hamilton rips a shot and again soars into the stands. Looks like she thought that was deflected off a defender there for OO Reign. It was not, says the referee Monroy. Dan Hamilton's had to do a lot of the heavy lifting with Kansas City, as you see that press being put on by her. Lavelle looking for the breakaway, unable to get it, but still trending towards that attacking third are the Reign. Huerta looking for a ball to throw it in. Lavelle controls just for a heartbeat. Lofted out. Stays with the Reign. Barnes comes up. Off the toss in, Fishlock. Scott knocks it away. Lavelle, ball in her back. Here's a shot from distance, and King, so close. You could see her coming up. And honestly, like a little streak of lightning. Got past the defense. I like the aggression from OL Reign early. I think that they've been the aggressor more so. Just immediately on the attack. Franch. Left for King wide. Nolf races to it and falls down. Pickett with that takeaway. Could have been really dangerous for Kansas City. Ends up not being. Let's go right back on the attack. Ball over her. Center. Hamilton barrels through. Still with OL Reign, and Hamilton looks a little shaken up on that. Harvey has the ball and is talking to her team right now, along with Barnes. Hamilton there, she just kind of ran straight into the defense there, or she was playing defense. As you see, another player down for OL Reign. Let's go. Yeah, those two collided. Let's see. All right, so this is separate, I guess. So Latsko maybe got hit by ball on the follow through. Slow to get up. And then you saw Hamilton just a little, again, shaken up. Looked like body to body contact there. But everyone's good and still in this match. Again, these two teams, because Kansas City is an expansion team, have only played 4 times in history, and OL Reign has just bested them 3 of 4. Well, Kansas City has a chip on their shoulder, I'm sure, on the road at Lumen Field. Played wide. This one high in the air. King. Nolf. Rolls out. Fishlock quickly there. Barnes taps it. Von der Yacht. Lavelle. Moving right. Just got very, very solid footwork. Lavelle. Let's go. Ricochets off the body of Scott, captain for Kansas City. Huerta. Let's go. Again, Scott. But still with OL Reign. Just a chance to reset. Taking their time, patient in the attack here. To a streaking Lavelle, cut off by ball. Bounces out of the 18. Gets it right back, Rose Lavelle. That was a pretty good opportunity. Fishlock. Huerta. King. Cut off by Nolf. Offside is called anyway, but I will say, well, Kansas City's reading it pretty well. I don't think that is doing much to stop King towards that back post. Here she comes again. Fishlock is wide for her. King takes a shot And it bounces to Franch, an easy pickup for the keeper. Just kind of hurrying up her club. Katie Franch signed late last year with Kansas City. And she's from Salina, Kansas, which I know people are going to say, well, Kansas City isn't in Kansas. I know that, but it's not very far. There's a couple of players. I mean, Weinbrenner is from Kansas City, Missouri. Just nice to see some semi, homegrown talent, local talent get an opportunity with clubs that, they didn't necessarily grow up watching because the NWSL is 10 years old, but, someday we'll see that be the case. I saw Jordan Listro from Orlando post a picture of herself, I think it was in high school, when she was at a Pride game, and now she's part of that club. That's just what this league's longevity is going to mean. King from Angelina. Latsko racing forward. Ball clips it out. Tracked down by Latsko, and again, here comes OL Reign. King, you see Nolf with that body box out. Once they saw it that first time, and honestly, she was wide open that first time. It was just a little mistimed. Obviously, it's very hard to hit on the back post like that. Once they realized that, they're just having Nolf when she can, body her up. Here's that press. Again from OL Reign, and again it causes a turnover. Kansas City within this last stretch having problems getting it out of this defensive third. Barnes, Fishlock, Angelina, King, left wing, back to Barnes. Here's King, tries to split the defense. Nice job by Scott. Pickett all the way up, sprinting forward. Doesn't have numbers here though. Goes wide. Del Fava. Huerta denies, gets a foul call as well. I mean, that's what happens when you have someone like Huerta, who, I mean, has 33 career goals, by the way, which is outstanding. And she's only 29 years old. But it's just so stingy defensively. And this is exactly what OL Reign has been doing. And it starts with their, top line. I mean, this is what happened. And this was sort of the game plan that we saw from Harvey against Washington in the semifinal Challenge Cup. And it just completely disrupted what Rodman, Sanchez, and Hatch usually do. The problem was OL Reign didn't score. And the same thing happened last week. I guess it was Sunday. Fishlock chipped forward, goes out on her. There's Ball. Elizabeth Ball getting the start. Center back for Kansas City. Has 2 yellow cards already this season. Weirdly enough, Kansas City there's 5 players that have 2 yellow cards in the NWSL. 3 of them are on Kansas City, Ball being 1. Scott and Loera being the other 2. If you get 5 over the course of the regular season, you have to sit a game. Huerta. King has an opportunity here, slips by the D. Franch denies. Where is it? Fishlock off the pickup. Chance to score. No, cleared out. Weinbrenner got in front of that for Kansas City. Chaos and not a goal for OL Reign. In the 18 again, Fishlock has a chance. And it's an easy save. Tough angle for Fishlock. Boy, oh boy, I don't know how OL Reign did not score on that. But credit to Franch for that initial save. And then, of course, credit to Weinbrenner for getting back and stopping that, because obviously that would go through. We've seen a lot of plays like that over the course of this season. There's so many good defensive players in the NWSL right now. It's really hard to score. And these two teams have felt it already in the regular season. Again, I've talked about this, but only 3 goals for OL Reign so far and 2 for Kansas City in the regular season through 4 matches. Fishlock loses it. Weinbrenner. Missed there for Franch. And again, that press is working. Latsko all over 80 Franch, who has to quickly get back as Barnes sets up. Ball heads it out. Of course, intended for Fishlock on the far side. We got a whistle, and saw Huerta collide with Loera. Kansas City will get possession here. Again, we still don't have a score. Reign has had some great chances. Get the feeling that they're knocking on the door, but that was the feeling throughout the Washington game as well. Leach. Right back with Reign. Fishlock. Latsko. Off the bounce, Angelina. Foul on Latsko. She does not like that. Neither do the fans at Lumen Field. Obviously, they are a little biased. Pretty irate there because of the way that bounce towards Angelina would have been a decent shot. It is not. Back with Kansas City, who is really struggling to get this out of their own end. Pickett. Hopping around Lavelle. Another whistle, this time against Lavelle as Pickett goes down. The free kick is coming. And Fishlock is very upset. Again, Rose Lavelle for OL Reign. I mean, I think most players or most fans are familiar with her and Fishlock and potentially Rapinoe. Just legendary players, but they've also got Barnes and Huerta, and just this team is loaded for OL Reign. Kansas City loaded up this year in the offseason. They're just dealing with injuries. Off the kick. Ends up going out on that end line. Taylor Leach there. Off that free kick in the set piece. Tough break for Kansas City. Honestly, just going to Angel City, if Press wasn't Press, which is a big thing to say, but if Kristen Press, wasn't as capable as she is with Angel City, then probably they walk out there with a point. Just a very weird play, and it wasn't a Press goal. She just basically took the defense on her own, drew him to the corner, took a cross. There wasn't a lot of options, but the way it bounced was off of Leach and in. And there wasn't much Franch could do about it. I mean, it's just one of those things. Again, Press did not have numbers or a good angle or options and still somehow made it work. And obviously that's just kind of the magic of Press. Here comes King. She runs right into Nolf. And we're going to get a card. Obviously, that's going to go against Nolf because you can't just cut somebody off like that. I think she felt like it was her only option because otherwise King had her beat. Let's see this again. Yeah, look at this. Poked it out, and she realized that that was going to be a decent shot, if not a goal. That's a yellow card again. That's a tough draw going up against King on that side. Both has it today. And now Barnes with a set piece for All Rain. Can they make something happen? Can they get a goal here? Take a lead early in this first half. Again, they haven't scored in 2 matches. Barnes headed out. King in front, Lavelle. Too crowded. Both go for the ball. No one gets a shot. Here's Barnes again, though. Angelina, King. Played out. Huerta rips a shot. Ooh, ball got a lot of that one. Lavelle again, deflected again. Scott to Hamilton, cut off. It's going to be a goal kick for Kansas City, but they are weathering the storm right now. And that's not a great place to be in. Again, back with the rain. Scott swerves through. Searching for options, flings it forward. They're trying to get it up to Bennett. Easier said than done, I think. Lavelle, Fishlock, lots of green. Plays it forward. Backtracks a little. Huerta. Let's go. Off the service in. Too much juice on that. Shots are 4-2 in OL Reign's favor, but OL Reign has, actually, that just changed. Shots are 6-2, and OL Reign has 3 of those shots on target, none on target for Kansas City. So we're half an hour in, and if you're just going by those numbers, OL Reign is in control. However, still scoreless, and obviously goals against the run of play are a very real part of NWSL soccer. Also should note that possession time is extremely lopsided, 65% in OL Reign's favor. Slow to get up is King here on the touchline. Hamilton. Loera snakes through. Fishlock on her back. Great defense again by Fishlock, combines with King. Back to Franch. I mean, really, Kansas City is struggling to cross this midfield line. Let's go. Ball beats her out. Franch. Huerta beats the defense there from Del Fava. Tries across. Scott with the touch. Service right back in. Fishlock tries to knock it home. Barnes beats Bennett. Fishlock again. King. Fishlock. That shot did go off a defender there for Kansas City, so it is going to be a corner kick for OL Reign. You can see Franch just trying to, hype her team up right now. Obviously, they need a stand here, and then they just need a good possession. All right, Barnes on this corner, where she's done this a million times. don't think that was how that was supposed to go. I don't know if she was trying to send it towards the top of the area and it didn't get there fast enough, or if that was just read really well by Kansas City. Either way, it's still OL Reign possession. Barnes. King can't save it from going out. And that's the thing, of course, this is a midweek game, and just based on, as French controls, based on how OL Reign is playing with this press, you have to have a very deep team to do that, as there's another mistake by Kansas City. It goes right back to OL Reign. Because at some point you're going to need to get some subs in. Well, here's the thing. OL Reign has, like I mentioned before, Balser, Quinn, Verpino, Allie Watt, and Wyatt all sitting on the bench. Or, excuse me, Hyatt. Right to France. She makes a save. Angelina is going to have her moving a little bit more. Lavelle starts, stops, turns. There's that fancy footwork. Barnes, left flank, hooks up the middle, backtracks. You can just see the skill. OL Reign is outstanding. That's why I wouldn't count this team out. Fishlock tries to connect with Lavelle. No shot. See Angelina. I mean, OL Reign had been down in their attacking third for a long time without a shot. Because, I mean, the last corner did not go very well. But now it's 9 shots for OL Reign. Again, this is looking dangerously like that Washington game without any goals. Of course, there's plenty of time. Here's Barnes. A little too far ahead of Fishlock. Delfava sends it out of trouble, but again, it's with OL Reign. And again, the possession time is probably just going up and up. Huerta floats that one to King. King heads it right to Franch. That was, if it had worked, I mean, that was inches away from working. Just obviously, Franch is so good at shading well, but King beat the defender and knows very well. I mean, this defense for Kansas City is going to be exhausting. And like I mentioned, because of the midweek match and also because of some of these COVID players being out, there's not a lot of bench options for Kansas City. Fishlock commits a foul. Yeah, so those in COVID protocol right now that are out today: Chardonnay Curran, Labonta, who's obviously a huge part of what they do, Haley Mace, another huge part of what they do, Izzy Rodriguez. I mean, and then of course Potter is also out, head coach. Although I did hear he's been doing more work than he's ever done from home because his wife has banished him, obviously with COVID, to a special quarantine room, and so he's just sitting there and constantly involved in practice and doing a lot of work. So it's not like Kansas City was left out in the cold. Lavelle taking the defense on her own, takes a shot and Franch denies. The best chance, obviously, came way back when they got Franch to have to come up. She made a great stop. And then chaos ensued, and ultimately, Jenna Breinwetter made a save near the goal line with Franch being out of position because she had to come up and slide, make a save. The last 2 shots have been pretty point blank. And again, for a keeper of French's caliber, that's going to be tough. Well, there's Lloyd Yaxley, who is the head coach today for Kansas City. He is usually working with French as a goalkeeper's coach. But he spent 5 years as an assistant with the Orlando Pride, and obviously under Matt Potter here with Kansas City. He worked with Ashlyn Harris with the Pride, and he knows a thing or two about good goalkeeping in the NWSL. French, Angelina trying to force a mistake. Almost a turnover there. But ultimately they get one. Barnes. Fishlock stumbles a little bit. Von der Yacht. Angelina. Scott. Facing pressure from King. Sends it out of play. I mean, this has been a pretty incredible half for Harvey's squad. And so she's got to be happy with it. It's just, about finishing opportunities when they come. But at the same time, if you're Harvey, you want your team to be patient, and they have possession time. So at the moment, the defense looks pretty unbreakable. You have to imagine the goals will come, especially with the players they have. To King, has a chance, whiffs. They obviously love that matchup, her and Nolf. They obviously are going to that every time they can. And she's got a great first step, obviously. Again, scoreless as we approach the final 5 minutes of regulation. Of course, we'll have some stoppage time here in the first half. Seattle, Washington, Lumen Field. First time these two sides have met this year. Did meet in the Challenge Cup. Let's go. Gets it right back for OL Reign. Stops it from French. Could have been worse than it actually was as it rolls out of play. But again, if you're Harvey, you have to just completely love this energy. Ball. See that swarm of white kits. Right to Barnes. Fishlock wide. 3 players in the 18 for OL Reign. Huerta. Bouncer, French hesitates, dives, as you saw that went off of Weinbrenner, and I think there was a who's going to get there. That French season fed ultimately just covers. Yeah, right now the passing accuracy for Current is very low. It's 54%. There's a player down. It's Rose Lavelle for OL Reign. Monvoice stops play as Lavelle is walking gingerly. She had actually gotten hit a little bit earlier, clipped on the ankle, just stepped on. And so I think that has something to do with this as well. Nolf off a cross, high in the air over the crossbar. And there comes Kansas City. I mean, this is the thing with the way OL Reign is playing, is they are leaving something on the table here. Last thing you want to do with the possession time you have, over 60% right now, to give up a goal at the end of the half. Low era. There's a corner kick coming for Kansas City. Obviously, Bennett will probably be option number 1. Hamilton as well. I guess 1A, 1B. Nothing comes of it. Possession time still with Kansas City, though. Just as I say that, it's right back with OL Reign. King comes up. Sends that to the crowd. Getting a Wednesday night match in Seattle. Hamilton tries to bolt forward, immediately taken right back. Fishlock to Lavelle. She's got so much speed, but ball gets there. Lavelle trying to poke it back out, going head to head. It's Rose Lavelle who wins. Look at that pass to King, slicing through, and Scott ever so steady back there for Kansas City. It could have been, I think that would have been the goal. And obviously they love what they see with King. I mean, she's just 23. Here's Bennett. Tackle by Cook. Alana Cook, center back for OL Reign. Again, it's been 2 matches since OL Reign scored. It's been 1 match since Kansas City scored. And we're looking like we might get a full half without a goal. However, another corner coming for Kansas City. This has to feel nice, potentially going to halftime. Finally getting some opportunities. It's only a minute of stoppage time here, so there's not a lot. And obviously, this could be the final set piece Kansas City runs of the half. Loera. Cut off by Tullis Joyce. Look at her hauling in. Boy. She can jump. She just showed us just how athletic she is. Tullis Joyce really has not seen any action at all. But when called upon, cuts that corner off. Because the trajectory of that was right towards Bennett. Nice move by Cook. Pickett for the current. Loera pulls it back. Weinbrenner gets saved a goal for sure. Weinbrenner. Barnes. Del Fava dribbles it out, but that is going to be it for the first half of action at Lumen Field between Kansas City and OL Reign. We don't have a score. Both teams have been struggling to find the back of the net in the regular season, and those struggles continue. We'll see if anything changes in the second half. We'll take a break and be right back for the second half of action here on Twitch. Welcome back, Lumen Field, Seattle, Washington. Maura Sheridan here for the second half. Glad to have you along with us on the Twitch International feed. Kansas City, OL Reign. We don't have a score yet. We played 45-plus minutes, and we have seen action specifically on the OL Reign side, and yet we don't have a score. So here are the numbers for you. 12 shots for OL Reign compared to 2 for the current. 6 shots on target for Kansas City. 0 for, or excuse me, 6 shots on target for OL Reign, 0 for Kansas City, and it's anybody's game right now. I mean, possession time did go down slightly. We were talking about prior to the break that it was about 60%. It's dropped a little bit because of a couple of, nice sequences for Kansas City to end that second half, but it's still 58%, or really 59% when you round up, and 41% on the other side for Kansas City. So we'll see if things change, or if OL Reign is finally able to find the back of the net for the first time in 2 matches. Again, it's been a full match without a goal as well for Kansas City, who's coming off a shutout loss to Angel City on the road. As you see, Megan Rapinoe is warming up, and it does appear that she might come in. We don't have an official word yet if she'll come in for OL Reign, but of course there are so many options on the bench for OL Reign that she would be a good one to use, but they could use Quinn, they could use Allie Watts, Balser, etc. I don't know if Kansas City is going to use Edmonds either, because defensively she might be a good choice, just because the defense has faced a ton of pressure and been back there so much, and so they might opt to send in Edmonds at some point. All right, so Megan Rapinoe will come in for OL Reign. Of course, I mean, what do you say first when you talk about Megan Rapinoe? As you see, giving some love to Edmonds, who appears to be coming in for Kansas City as well. But Rapinoe will take out Latsko, who definitely deserves a break. She was all over the field. Just incredible play by Latsko, I thought. Force Franch to make a couple of mistakes and force the defense to as well. And it's just a, bolt of lightning up top. It must be exhausting, though, so they'll switch out Latsko with Rapinoe. All right, so they do make a sub, Kansas City. It will be Edmonds who comes in, and she'll take out Madeline Nolf, who, again, it seemed like was, the kind of the target. They liked that King-Nolf matchup. Obviously, she's a sub coming in for Edmonds on a midweek game, and OL Reign was going straight at her. Huerta slow to get up here on a collision. She will get the ball back with OL Reign, and she has to come out because I believe that is a contact to the head, and anytime that happens, players have to step off immediately. That's what Monroy was motioning. Tullis Joyce, again, she hasn't faced a shot on target. Doesn't mean she hasn't had to move around a little bit. I think it was towards the end of that, or was the very end of the first half, when she had to cut off a fairly well-played corner. Out in front of Yexley, again, acting head coach for Kansas City because Potter is out with COVID. Del Fava, she'll throw it in here for the Current. Neither of these teams have won yet in the regular season. 3 losses for Kansas City, 1 tie. OL Reign, 1 loss, 3 ties. So that's what puts them above Kansas City in the standings, but they're 10 and 11. North Carolina's 12. North Carolina won the Challenge Cup. Angelina out to Rapinoe. Megan Rapinoe turns on the Jets. Off the cross to Lavelle. Fishlock almost there. King, another chance, and it goes wide. Boy, all the heavy hitters got involved in that one for OL Reign. I mean, that is what Rapinoe provides, right? Just a high soccer IQ and sense of all the players coming on the opposite side, sends it through. Everyone was there, and yet no one got a shot. But that's the kind of electricity that you're going to see with a player like Rapinoe in. She's got 40 career goals. It's 8th all time in the NWSL. And things are kind of ever shifting in the NWSL in that category. Barnes flings it to Rapinoe. Del Fava circles back. Collapse of the D. Lavelle touches it out. Again, Lavelle, prior to this game, led the league in shots and just has 1 goal. 4 shots in this match for Lavelle. Of course, the leaders in goals, I mean, Alex Morgan. Morgan has 6 goals already. Just insane numbers. I mean, half of those are off PKs. But it's still been incredible. Because obviously teams know with San Diego, everybody knows about Alex Morgan, and yet no one can stop her. But what I was saying, as 80 French, this one rolls back to her. I think I finished this thought, but if I did not, speaking of Morgan, speaking of Rapinoe, so many of these players are still active that are all-time leading scorers, so we're not really sure who's going to end up on top of that list in the end. Because it's not like, I mean, only Lloyd is retired, and then Sam Kerr is not playing in the NWSL anymore. Everybody else is still playing, including Lynn Williams, as that one goes out, who was a huge signing for Kansas City, along with Mewis. Mewis is out with a leg injury, and Lynn Williams is out for the entire season. Just a really tough break. You know, saw a couple players go down in the Challenge Cup, and Williams being out for the season is just so incredibly brutal for Kansas City, because they really did load up in the off season. And we saw that happen with Orlando and Marta go down. I mean, it's just can be really difficult for a team to bounce back from something like that. And they did, I mean, in the Challenge Cup. Branch. King. Ball. Cuts her off, and then ball goes down. No whistle here. Angelina's down in the box. Play on. Everybody pause for a second. Holding her left ankle. Now Lavelle is going. Elizabeth Ball is still down right now for Kansas City. So a whistle is finally blown, as Kansas City is going to all come over to Elizabeth Ball right now. Let's see what happens. Ooh, yep. Not intentional from King, but she absolutely got her right in the nose. And then you see there Angelina go down, and that's just a pretty nasty, appears like a nosebleed for Ball, and then of course a nose injury there. So you hate to see that. Again, she got elbowed in the face by King, just totally accidentally. Harvey trying to hype up her team right now. Not a lot of things feel worse than that. Again, obviously, Kansas City is just kind of switching things defensively. One, because they have to, because they don't have a lot of options. But two, because I think they're trying to combat what OL Reign is doing, and so they've kind of been switching who is out to play King. And Ball just got tasked with that and got an elbow to the face. I think she'll have to come out. I mean, she will because the training staff's out, but also that is technically a head injury. So she'll have to step off for a second, I think. Get some love from her captain, Scott. Not a lovely sight. We'll see this again. Again, just, you know, typical soccer play, but yeah, caught her right in the nose. She's good. So she'll come back in when she can. However, it is a free kick for OL Reign. Or not a free kick, but close to it. And Ball, of course, is going to have to run on with a sense of urgency here. Switching field. Barnes. Right to Pickett. Breaking some ankles out there. Pickett plays with it. Pushed from behind by Fishlock. There's a foul. Excuse me, that's Rapinoe. Still scoreless. Immediately, OL Reign, just like they started the first half, came out in the second half and had a great scoring opportunity. No one's been able to actually pounce. Here comes Pickett to Bennett. Sliding out is Tullis Joyce. Dives on it, corrals it in. Pulls it back. 26 years old. Keeper for OL Reign. Typically inundated with shots. Mentioned the stat that she, going into this match, had the most saves in the NWSL in the regular season. 2 saves against Washington, and now, I mean, she doesn't have a shot on target here. Flick back to her, though. At least she's getting more touches. Kansas City's making her move a little bit here. Rapinoe. Weinbrenner attempts to poke it out. Rapinoe switches fields. Huerta. King. Back to Huerta. Scott. Wide channel. Bennett. Her and Hamilton. No numbers there. But a throw-in in the attacking third for Kansas City. Again, that Hamilton-Bennett pair was very lethal against Orlando, launching a late comeback. Both scored. Bennett got an assist on the Hamilton goal as well. Obviously, we know what Hamilton can do. She was mentioned a lot in the last couple of weeks because only Alex Morgan, Kristen Hamilton, and Sam Kerr have ever had 4 goals in a single match in the NWSL. So that's great company to be in if you're Hamilton. And just another, huge part of what Kansas City is trying to do in the future. It's just hard when you're battling injuries and COVID and all of it. Del Favo. Off on Cook. Midweek NWSL match. Tons of games this weekend. Rain play on Sunday. Kansas City actually plays on Monday. Here's Fishlock. Ball. Beats her to it off of Angelina. Great job by Ball there again. Coming off a nosebleed to get back. Whoops. Tried the flip there. Didn't quite work. But the drums and the crowd for a Wednesday, has been good at Lumen Field. They always do well, West Coast. Love their soccer. Edmonds coming all the way up. Back to French. French doesn't have a shutout yet this season. Regular season. I mean, the worst loss for Kansas City was to start the regular season, lost 3-0 to Portland, at Portland, which is, we know, a tough place to go. But then followed that up with a 2-0 loss to Houston, who's been playing well. Pickett scraped up. Angelina just tripped Pickett there. Long ball for Bennett. Cook beats her out. Has to clear it. Things look better for Kansas City in the second half, but they still don't have a shot on goal, and obviously that's how you score. I guess talk to Kristen Press about that, because I don't really know if I would categorize her goal as really a shot. It was more of a cross that went in, but that is 1 in a million. Both these teams desperate to score, desperate for a win, don't have one in the regular season. OL Reign has gone 2.5 games without a goal. Del Fava. Ball. Wide for Edmonds. Tries a through pass to Pickett. It goes out. Barnes will toss it in. Current ball in the circle. Midfield with Scott. Fishlock taps it out. Lavelle back to Fishlock. Leaves it for King. French. Del Fava. Slide by Cook, and she might have got clipped in the face from Del Fava. Accidentally, of course. Cook being checked on by a current offender. Looks like she's all right. Let's see. Well, we see the ball. Slow-mo. Cook. Del Fava. Ooh, knee. I guess at least it was the side of the head. It's not really that much better, but... Another player down now for Kansas City. Yellow card is given out to Angelina. That's the second yellow card we've seen in this match. Of course, the first one for Angelina. Taylor Leach is in some pain. Center back for Kansas City. Let's see this one. Didn't see it completely. Well, definitely is a card. Did she cleat her in the face is the question. Angelina is going to come out, and Bethany Balser is going to come in. So another threat offensively in the game for OL Reign. They'll also take King out, and Quinn will come in. So kind of going with a lot of their starters here. Again, Laura Harvey, you could hear it in her voice when we were talking to her. She said, very disappointed with the Washington game. Just because they had it, numbers-wise. Didn't win, and of course it's just been a little bit of a struggle in the regular season. All right, again, King, Angelina out. Here's a chance. Del Fava over the crossbar. What a good look for Kansas City. They don't capitalize. Hamilton, though, clapping her hands here for the Current. That was her best look. Period. All match. And again, this is what you risk if you're OL Reign. Hamilton wants in on the action. Cook boxes her out. It's going to be a goal kick, not a corner. You could hear Kansas City say that's a corner. Obviously, they're going to believe that. Yaxley would kind of be, I mean, I'm sure Matt Potter's sitting at home just hoping that his team is able to get a victory, even though he's not the head coach tonight, technically. Tola's choice. Taking her time. Cook. Huerta. Fishlock stretches out, lunges forward, and then gets fouled. I guess the foul was called on the other side, back Vonderjagt. Cook will take this. Harvey said, by the way, about Alana Cook, that she has a chance to be one of the best center backs to ever play. Imagine your coach saying that about you. That's how much Harvey believes. She didn't say with Seattle. She didn't say, you know, of her generation. She said to ever play. Branch in the circle. Quinn, Balser. Mentioned this a little bit earlier, but worth noting again. Balser in the lone win at home had 2 goals against Kansas City last year. Goes to work there, earns a corner. As the defense flipping around. Already making some noise off the bench. Rapinoe, who is 3rd all-time in corner kicks taken, will take this here. Bethany Balser, Fishlock, Lavelle, lots of options. I'm sure I missed somebody. Through the air. Not a great look. Lavelle just outside the 18. Huerta. Miscue. Bennett all the way up. Edmonds, an option left. Here's a chance. A corner coming for Kansas City. Well, that's best case scenario for OL Reign, actually, with the way that looked like it could play out. That cross looked like it had a great chance of getting to Bennett. Barnes, again, with a player that she is, was able to get back and deflect that out. But boy, that was danger. You could hear the crowd go silent at Lumen Field as they awaited a potential go-ahead goal from Kansas City. Costly error. From Loera, back post, ball! Gets a good touch on that. In the 6, Pickett, her shot deflected, out of trouble. Edmonds comes back. French is way out right now, and Fishlock is all over her. Keeper to keeper. Don't see that too much. Tola's choice. Goes to the wing. Barnes takes off. Rapinoe. Quinn. Too far in front of Rapinoe. That's a tough spot to get a throw in here for Kansas City. Edmonds, of course, is probably the person you want to handle that. Trying to find Bennett. Doesn't stay in. Balser. Turns square, splits the D, gets fouled. Bennett commits. That was, I think, a frustration foul from Bennett. She was not happy that she lost the ball. All right, another free kick, another set piece for OL Reign. Can they get on the board and get some separation here? Or are they looking at their third straight scoreless draw? That would be insane. Rapinoe again. Deep breath. Not a great look. Again, Hamilton to Bennett. Stumbles a little bit. Nice touch though back to Hamilton. Turns on the Jets. Lavelle getting back. Leaves it wide, but it's too wide for Bennett. Cook. Hamilton on her back. Corner coming. Again, we're looking at 2 straight and counting for OL Reign without a goal. That's the first time that's happened to the Reign since the first year of the NWSL, when they weren't even technically OL Reign. They went 4 games without scoring. That was May to June of 2013. It's been a long time. Now they got to play some defense. Tola's Joyce punches it out, and it's over the crossbar. Another corner coming. One off of the defense. Did it touch off of Tola's Joyce or somebody else? The initial punch out. Boy, she had to make that with her opposite hand, too, across her body. Get some love from Rapinoe. Low era. We'll just head to the opposite side and do this again. Again, we're talking about not scoring for OL Reign. Yes, but they also haven't given up a goal in 2 straight. Knocking on the door of the Current. Fishlock heads it out. Rapinoe Trying to connect in the midfield, nobody home. Flying down, no call there. Bennett limping a little bit, and now she's going to go down to the pitch. Let's see. McCluron, I mean, they both, I think she got stepped on. Delfava. Hamilton crawling around on the ground. Earns a foul. It goes against Cook. All right, so it seems like the tides have turned a little bit here in the second half, and Kansas City is getting more options. Loera, Edmonds up top. You can see Lavelle and Rapinoe setting up the wall there. Of course, Tolis Joyce is in net. She just had to make a really good save. Edmonds, good free kick. No one gets a great look on it, though. Pickett had a lot of curve to it. Rapinoe, poked out by Scott. Rapinoe goes down, and she gets a call. Oh, we've got about 15 minutes left in regulation. Still don't have a score. Edmonds. Bennett. Tackle is successful. Oh, there's a late whistle. Barnes disagrees. Shots are kind of at a stalemate right now, 13-5. Of course, OL Reign has more. Still haven't technically seen a shot on target for Kansas City. Edmonds. Nothing. Delfava. Ball. I mean, this defense looks unflappable for OL Reign. It's just, that's not the problem for OL Reign. Sometimes that's been the problem for Kansas City. But not today. Balser. Rapinoe. Barnes. As a defense skating for Fishlock. Left wing. Lavelle, Balser in the area. Franch dives. Covers. Lavelle on the ground. Earns it back. Voneriot. Balser has a chance. Pass behind everybody. Hamilton. Loses it. Quinn. Wide. Hamilton's down. Quinn. Huerta. Back to Quinn. Lavelle. Huerta. Quinn surveys. Time's a ticking for both sides. Cook, Balser, 1v1. Weinbrenner, the rookie, gets the goal kick. I haven't seen a offensive opportunity for either side in the second half that I'm in love with. Branch should love some cushion here. I mean, again, if you think about it, a point's not the worst thing in the world if you're both sides, especially for Kansas City on the road in Seattle. I mean, that's a long trip. That's not the worst thing in the world. But if you're both of these sides and just the scoring has been such a problem, it's just not going to feel good. And it's still, again, another day without a victory. If you already had one, it's maybe something you can live with, but they still don't have one. Fishlock has something to say about that. Here's a chance. Had Leach on the ground. Pulls it back out. Huerta rips it. Curling back. In the 6. Balser falls down. Quinn. Lavelle. Here's a chance and a goal! Balser puts it home for OL Reign. And finally, after 2 matches without a score, the Seattle side is on the board. Well, she caught the defense off guard. I would love to see that again because it happened in a blink of an eye there, Balser. And that's what she does, right? Creates chaos when you least expect it. First of all, once again, Huerta. Look at that header. Oh my goodness. Balser is so pretty on that. Her Challenge Cup finishes were just like that. She had so many goals. And she didn't have any separation, really at all. And still made it work. And again, that's also a credit to Huerta for the placement there. Balser, incredible stuff. That is her 16th goal in her career and her first regular season goal in 2022. Bethany Balser had a pair of goals in the Challenge Cup. Excuse me, she had 3 in the Challenge Cup. And she finally gets on the board in the regular season. So the home side is up. And again, at least if you're OL Reign, I mean, you got to survive now because the last thing you want to do is lose this lead. But you got a goal. And I'll say patient. It's patience with this team. I don't think. I mean, they have certainly players that could explode and have incredible games, but you know they're going to be kind of methodical about the way that they play, and we just saw it pay off. And again, I just can't talk about that service from Huerta enough, and that is why you have her on this side. Fishlock, Huerta again, looking for another assist. Balser wanted the brace, bounced around. Ooh, Rapinoe almost got that. Coming out to play some defense on Franch. Fishlock. Lavelle has a chance, and it just goes wide. Oh, Lavelle, so close. Boy, from this angle, it kind of looked like it went in at first. Things have opened up for OL Reign. I don't know if they just needed that goal and now things are different, or if the defense is honestly probably just getting very tired for Kansas City. And these touches and these passes have been pristine. Plus, you just consider with the way that the Reign have decided to play with all that pressure up top, it wears on teams. And like I said, you have to be patient with it because it's not always gonna, it's probably not gonna work right away. It might take to the 80th minute to actually pay off, and it did for Huerta and Balser, and that's how Reign got on the board. Barnes. Rapinoe. Up the wide channel. Left wing. Lavelle. Delfava gets in front. A save from France. Lunging out because a second chance for Lavelle. Quinn. Huerta. Barnes. Volleys it to Rapinoe. All right, so Kansas City is throwing out an option here. It's Addie McCain. She's going to come in for Elizabeth Ball. Obviously looking for the equalizer. Look at this from Rapinoe. First of all, Delfava great, but the thing is she fell. Boy, Lavelle's had a couple of great chances here in the last couple of minutes. Again, McCain comes in for Kansas City. Ball is out. Ball playing through that nosebleed. I don't know if there's an injury sustained otherwise. Obviously, it's never a good sign when your nose is bleeding. She played through. Balser. Edmonds, McCain. Everybody around her for OL Reign. Edmonds. Excuse me, that's Bennett. This is what the OL Reign defense will do to you, break you down mentally, I think, because you really can't get through them much. Huerta takes off, right flank, left for Fishlock, onside. Rapinoe off the cross, and it almost goes in. You can feel Rapinoe so thirsty for that first regular season goal. I think OL Reign could be up 3-1, or excuse me, 3-0 right now with the looks that they've had in the last couple of minutes. Edmonds takes out Huerta. Still down on that. Look at this. Again, Fishlock onside, and then, well, that's a beauty of a pass, because it got through everybody. Rapinoe almost one touch it in, and that's a thing with OL Reign is some of these players, like Rapinoe, I mean, she didn't play the Challenge Cup, so, and I know that she's, you know, a veteran, that these players have played with her before, but you know, there is some easing into the season for her, and coming off an injury and stuff, that you get a feeling that maybe by, you know, the international window in June, things might look different for OL Reign, and this would be a good starting point for them if they can get a win. Fishlock again for Rapinoe, and this time it's over the crossbar. Now she's smiling. Has it again in the 18. Loses it. Pickett. Into Rapinoe. Look at that from Lavelle. Fishlock. Lavelle takes a shot. Just lands behind the net. Again, Balser with the difference right now. She's been the stuff of nightmares for Kansas City. Quinn. Fishlock looks a little banged up here. Back in the action, Cook. Floats it forward, Lavelle. Not giving up. Balser in the 18. The touch from Rapinoe to Fishlock. On the same page. Yeah, so I mentioned this, but now Balser, because of the 2 she had last year, in 5 meetings with Kansas City, she has 3 goals. So she really has been that player on the Seattle side that's been a problem. Hamilton wants the equalizer in the 18, stonewalled. Balser tangled up with Scott. Scott gets called for the foul. Balser slow to get up. Again, what a beautiful header from Balser. Picture perfect, that goal from Rain. Sort of edged out by Scott there. Rapinoe plays it wide. Bonariat there. Just a little high on that kick and also hip check against Scott, who goes down. All right, we're going to get 4 minutes of stoppage time in this one. 4 minutes of stoppage time, so that's a lot. Quinn got Fishlock to their right. Bounces off. Rapinoe tripped up. No whistle. 50-50, I guess. Quinn. Rapinoe. Lavelle. There are some subs waiting for OL Reign. We'll see if they actually can get them in. Again, we just have 3 minutes or so left in this one. 1-0 is the score. See Ali Watt looking like she'll check in if there's time. Olivia Athens as well for OL Reign. All right, so here come the OL Reign subs. All right, so Watt is coming in. She'll take out Rapinoe, who was so close to goal number 1 in 2022. Again, Ali Watt. Rapinoe off. Lots of love from the crowd. And then Athens will take out Fishlock. I mean, if you're... Oh, Rain, you gotta love that connection. they had, the pair of them. Didn't score, but really close. And once All Rain got that first goal, things looked, it looked like they would get a couple more. So they did still, I think, leave a couple on the table, but at least they got that one, and looks like they're going to come up with a victory at home. And it's all about progress, I think. And still, I think, recovering just from the Challenge Cup and everything that comes with it, heartbreaking loss to Washington, having to play Washington again. The schedule hasn't been easy. Had to play Portland, too. They played some of the top teams. Hamilton. One final push here for Kansas City. Watt. Blows by Scott. Here's Allie Watt in the corner. Scott, Watt, and there is the, oh, that's offside. Got a little ahead of myself. We're almost at the final whistle of this one. See Athens out there. Bennett. There is a final whistle in this one as the OL Reign fans get on their feet because finally a victory. And they do it at Lumen Field. 1-0 the final score. Balser comes in off the bench. She's now got 3 goals against Kansas City in 1+ years going up against them. And finally, again, OL Reign scores a goal after 2 straight games with a shutout. And now they get victory number 1. So only 2 teams remain in the NWSL without a win. That's Kansas City, who obviously just lost, and North Carolina. Lots of love from both sides, but again, one more time, OL Reign beats Kansas City 1-0 thanks to Bethany Balser. I'll say so long from Lumen Field. I'm Maura Sheridan. Have a great night, everyone.